believe Buffalo is going to win it, folks.
Kick your heels up and shout.
Let's see why the Buffalo Bills are en route to the playoffs.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
Buffalo Bills go undefeated. And we're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Now, baby, come on, come on.
No one
Come on
circles the
and
wagon
shout.
like the Buffalo Bills.
All right, we are live. We are live and we are back. Welcome to another episode of the Overdue Bills podcast. And we're truly excited. We have a special guest, returning guest on the show today. And let me just introduce the guys today. We have yours truly, our guy Matt, aka Matty Ice. Matt, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Ready to talk some Bills football with our guy, and happy to be here.
Absolutely. And our trusty man Rad, aka All Purpose Rad. Rad, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Ready to talk some football with our guest. A great guest. He got on that drip too, so you know it's gonna be a good pod. Got on that drip. Let's get it.
Listen, and I have the pleasure of introducing the man, the myth, and the legend, Greg Stryker. Stryker, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Preach. Pleasure to be back with you. Matt was just on our vidcast here a couple days ago. I don't even know what day it is now. I'm driving all over the country. My RV's breaking down. I'm in a Walmart backroom office right now, making this happen for everybody. Rad, great to meet you as well, man. I love myself some Overdue Bills, the best named podcast in all the NFL.
Oh, man.
Talk to you, gentlemen. Absolutely love the name. And always a great time with you guys. I can't wait to talk the matchups here, as we always have a great time. You know that.
Dope.
Definitely. We definitely appreciate you wearing this shirt. Man, this is our guy. I wanted you so talk about your RV. I don't know. I've been into RVs. I don't know if like YouTube is just sending these algorithms of RVs to me with the, I don't know. I find myself looking at all of them. So you're going across the country with it? Like what's going on?
I run a promotions and marketing company. We work Walmart grand openings for PepsiCo. So I got like all my Pepsi crap here as well, Pepsi sweatshirts, because I'm going to be working here for Pepsi in the morning, handing out free drinks at the Walmart for the re-grand opening. So I'm up in North Brunswick. Normally I'm down in the Baltimore area. So currently in North Brunswick, New Jersey. I'm in a different state for my company because I'm doing promotions. We're all over the place. Pittsburgh. Right. I got another team up in Connecticut. I got another team down in Georgia. We're all over the place.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Listen, we definitely appreciate. Yeah, I know. We appreciate Stryker, man. He's A1, man. Listen, he's in.
and I just got under the gun too. Almost missed out today.
We appreciate the loyalty to the pod. But before we get into the show, shout out to 26 Shirts. Shout out to Buffalo fan base. We appreciate them for allowing us to partner with us. And also, Matt, can you please let the people know who is sponsoring this show today?
Yes, sir. This show and every other show is brought to you by the good people at Buffalo Wing Kings. There's two things the guys here at the Overdue Bills podcast know. That's Bills football and that's wings. Our first choice and the best choice is Buffalo Wing Kings. It's Thursday night football, man. It's not too late. Get your order in. Get yourself a nice little 20-piece. Sit down, enjoy the game tonight. Sunday, get your orders in early for the game on Sunday. Hit those guys up for all your wing needs. Stop down and see them at 484 Elmwood Avenue or give them a call at 716-248-1427 and find out why they say, and we know they got the best wings in town, hands down. And make sure you mention our name, Overdue Bills Podcast. Get 10% off your order.
Absolutely. We love Buffalo Wing Kings here at the Overdue Bills Podcast. And let me say this, OverdueBillsPod.com. We need you to go there. Go to the website and check us out. We have, all of our media, all of our merch. You see the merch. The merch is in full effect right now. So please go to the Overdue Bills Podcast. OverdueBillsPod.com. Go to the website and check us out. Like, share, rate, and review. Do all those amazing things so we can put the show out to as many people as we can. But with that being said, let's get into the show. quick question of the day. And and really this question is really for Stryker more so, but I guess Matt and Rad can answer. Stryker, do you know if there was ever a time that the Pittsburgh Steelers were 14-point underdogs?
Oh, yeah. I am a student and longtime lover of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Born in 1974, but not old enough to appreciate really any of the first 4 Super Bowls. Didn't get into football till 85. And by that time, we sucked. We lost our first 2 combined games, I think, like 70-something to 10. And it was just like, we were not picked to do anything back then. When your quarterback was Mark Malone, you weren't going to move the football very well against anything. No, exactly.
Carl Malone?
I wish it was Carl Malone. I could at least score.
Sounds like Carl in South Buffalo or something.
Right. But now, yeah, at least for this era, since we've had Ben Roethlisberger, I do not remember a spread this large since the Ben Roethlisberger era started.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it really doesn't exist. It's just interesting to see like how big the spread is. Right. But
I think it's accurate.
Throw that out.
I was talking to Matt too. Like I was telling Steeler fans, if you want to make money this week, bet on the Bills to cover. I honestly think they're going to beat us by like 30 points.
Wow.
You're going up against a situation right now. All of our starting secondary is injured. The entire starting secondary. You're missing all-world player, in my opinion, NFL MVP TJ Watt. He's definitely not playing. He's still on injured reserve. You've also got our other big man on campus with Hayward up there on the front line. He's our biggest disruptor on the front line. He's banged up this week. So we're already missing Witherspoon. Wallace, your guy who we got from you last year. We love him as well. He's banged up this week. He's limited. Looks like he's limited this practice right now with a foot. Sutton, our other starting opposite corner, he's limited with a groin and hamstring. We got Witherspoon, he's going to be out with his hamstring. That's why Wallace was supposed to be starting for this game. Terrell Edmonds is still in concussion protocol. He's still not ticked up on concussion protocol because he was limited today. You have to be full practice to get knocked up a level and then have no symptoms after the next practice to be able to play. Right now, he's still a question mark. And our stud, Minka Fitzpatrick, who's still getting interceptions, still making plays, he's limited with the knee. And I know he's going to try to come back, but man, I really don't want him to force to come back for a game like this that I'm not expecting to win. But that is 5 of our top 4 starting slots right there, banged up or not playing this game. Going up against an all-world elite quarterback, that's just a match made in heaven. I mean, you guys might see it as a trap game. I mean, things like that. But the way we execute, we're executing on defense. We can't stop the Jets with a 10-point lead in the 4th quarter. So come on.
I absolutely love Stryker because like he kind of like my show notes. He kind of hit every show note. Like he just do. But it's okay. It's okay.
We'll keep going back. We'll get in depth to it.
That's fine. So since he talked about the injury report, because obviously we wanted to touch upon that, but Matt, we do have some players that are not playing, some people in concussion protocol and so on and so forth. Matt, can you please just kind of give us a brief up to date about the Bills injury report?
Yeah, I mean, so it's quite an extensive list, just like just like yours guys are. But Jamison Crowder obviously broke his ankle last week in the Ravens game, so he'll be out. Isaiah McKenzie still in the protocol from that hit last week. And then also we have Jordan Phillips and Ed Oliver. They were limited in practice today. They haven't been playing the past couple of weeks, so those could be pretty big in our defensive run. And we talked about it on Monday about Gabe Davis just hasn't been himself. He didn't practice today, so those are definitely some guys to look out for this week.
Absolutely. Listen, both teams are injured. For whatever reason, the injury bug is kind of hitting the league. It's just a lot going on right now. So we'll see, come Sunday. But Stryker did talk about this being a trap game or it not being a trap game. But I did want to touch base upon that. And I wanted to ask you guys, right, do you think since last year, right, first game of the season, 16-23, the Bills came in as heavy favorites during that game. but yet we lost. And we kind of talked about it on this pod. And Stryker, you called it out. You said that you believe that Pittsburgh will win. We know that Tomlin's a live dog, so on and so forth. So when you talk about trap game, do you think that plays a factor into it, right? That the Bills, we remember, Matt said, right, the North remembers. So right. Matt, can you talk about that? And then I'm going to hand it off to Stryker.
Yeah, so I mean that's the biggest thing I think we have going is that we did it against the Titans in our home opener, right? I mentioned the North remembers. So the guys on this team, they were on this team last season also, except for the rookies and a couple other guys we brought along. But they remember how that felt to play, at a home opener and get beat in front of our crowd, and just start the season off on such a bad note, losing all three facets of the game. And they definitely, I think they'll be ready to come out and play. And I'm with Stryker. I think it's going to be, a little lopsided event.
Yeah, and at least one good aspect about it not being a trap game, in my opinion, is that the Steelers did beat you in Week 1 last year. That's something that everybody on the Bills is going to remember, especially Josh Allen, who is a guy that hates to lose. That's why another smart pick, anytime Josh Allen loses a game, you bet on him to win and cover the next week because he's going to find a way to damn do it. Guy's a player. But for this game as well, the reason why I called it last year and I saw it last year was because our defense was 100% fully healthy and disruptive. I know when we're fully healthy, this is one of the most disruptive defenses on the planet. When you look at our Week 1 game against Cincinnati, a team coming off a Super Bowl run our Week 1 game, we turned the ball. We forced like 5 turnovers on Burrow. Right. Why? Because TJ Watt was getting after him. Highsmith was getting after him on the other side. We had Hayward knocking balls down. Our whole secondary, Minka was ready to roll, picking it up and running it back for touchdowns. I mean, we were ready to play that game. And Absolutely. When we're 100% healthy on defense, we can play with anybody in this league. Problem is, we're 100% not healthy this week, which is why we can't beat our way out of a paper bag. If you're asking me, to be completely honest, and I had to be honest with my Steeler fans last night in Steeler Nation, it's like this is a tough matchup. It's coming at the wrong time. The only X factor, well, I guess we'll get to that in a bit. I don't want to jump ahead in what's going on our offense, but on the defensive side right now, I am just not optimistic of us being able to slow down. Even with your injuries up and down your offense, even with your wide receivers hurt, it doesn't matter who you guys are trotting out on the field against that secondary because you've got Josh Allen. In my opinion, top 3 quarterback in the league. Argument for number 1, who I love. He's a young Ben Roethlisberger who's a better runner. That's who he is. Great decision maker, accurate as hell, knows when to make plays with his feet. And hell, when he's got to get a first down, he's going to make sure he does it with his feet. I love watching him. Absolutely love watching him. Now I'm going to get an up close and personal look at how a great franchise quarterback is going to look against this crap defense this week.
And that's interesting because obviously we could go right to the Steelers offense because on the opposite side, you would hope the guy that you drafted, Kenny Pickett, can be, can develop and be that type of player. But I did want to ask you something, Stryker, and I'm going to go to Rat after that. Matt Canada has some comments. He said that the offensive play calling you seen last game is not going to be the same coming into this game. I don't know what that means, but can you kind of help Bills fans? Is he trying to tell us that Kenny Pickett is going to throw the ball over the field? What is he actually saying?
Yeah, well, the reason why it's not going to look like last game is because we went into the Jets game with a offensive game plan revolving around Mitchell Trubisky and his talents. That's the way it was called. As soon as Kenny Pickett came into the game, we had to kind of condense the playbook because he didn't get to practice the whole week. So he didn't run the full complement of plays. But the things that Kenny Pickett was doing well was he was getting the ball downfield. That was one thing Mitchell Trubisky just could not do this season. For some reason, he looked like Ben Roethlisberger the past 2 years after Week 10, who couldn't get the ball farther than 8 yards down the field unless it was pinned up against the sideline. That was the only throws Ben Roethlisberger could make. Looked like Mitchell Trubisky was doing his best Ben Roethlisberger impression, unfortunately, at the end of his career. Unfortunately, he never got to really take a snap for you guys in meaningful action. I don't know if he performed better in preseason. He performed great in preseason for us, putting up scores and making plays. But Kenny Pickett will push the ball down the field. he will start putting his receivers in positions to make plays. That is just something that Trubisky just was basically coming out, and he's like, I don't want to turn the ball over. I don't want to lose this game. So that is the only X factor I see for this game is Kenny Pickett coming in and be able to get the balls to our playmakers. And we are thick at playmakers. I do love Claypool. I love Deontay Johnson, who made the Pro Bowl last year. Great possession receiver. I love our draft pick, George Pickens. That guy's going to be insane.
Right.
As soon as we got our first 100-yard receiver this year was George Pickens. Once Kenny Pickett came to the game, Pickett to Pickens. And then, of course, Freiermuth is starting to come into his own now. He's leading our team in receiving yardage currently as the tight end. And great hands, great go-to guy to extend the plays and to extend the change, turn third downs into first downs. That's going to be his safety blanket. So with Najee Harris, hopefully getting better blocking. The blocking has been improving each game. His numbers per rush has been improving each game. Looking forward to our Pro Bowl running back starting to hit his stride, at least with some running.
So Rad, do you think, with that being said, right, we understand, and I'm sure Leslie Frazier is looking at all of this stuff, and he sees that Kenny Pickett can obviously move the ball downfield and he has weapons. Do you think this is a situation where he's going to dial up some blitzes like we did to like a Lamar Jackson? We blitzed a little bit more. Or do you think this is a situation where he's going to say, rush our four, let's allow our dogs on our defensive line to kind of get after him and then sit back in coverage, and let's see if Kenny Pickett can dissect our zone? What do you think? Are we going to like try to make him go fast, or do you think we're going to sit back? How do you feel?
I think we're gonna play our typical, our typical thing, because you want to limit his feet, right? I know Stryker said, he wants to, throw the ball down the field, but Kenny Pickett is also a mobile guy, and young quarterbacks like that, first starts, he probably gonna want to use his legs to get out of some tough situations. So I think we're gonna zone him up. I think we're gonna send for. I think the crowd noise is going to get to him. So, just that communication with the sideline, with the Matt Canada of the world, I think that's going to, I think we're going to use the crowd noise. The front four are going to get to him, and I think that's going to be enough. Just because, his first start, hostile environment, he's going to try to probably first read, second read, maybe try to get out the pocket, make something happen. I think that a zone is going to be the best case scenario for that.
Interesting. So Matt, do you think that this is a big game for a Matt Milano and a Tremaine Edmonds? Like, do you think it's like, and what I mean by that is, I know Kenny Pickett can move the ball, but do you think that they're going to rely on Najee Harris to kind of just run the ball? Like, are we going to have to focus on our run defense more? How do you gauge this?
Well, I think if we think how the game is going to go a certain way, a lopsided way for us, I think they're going to have to throw the football. So they're not going to be able to be like the Titans and run the football, 30 times, even when they're down a score or two. So I will say that, even out of the run game, Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds, they're looking like, the best linebacker duo in the NFL right now. I mean, Milano is everywhere in every situation, and Tremaine Edmonds is right side by side with him. So that they'll have the assignment of Freiermuth, and then be able to get with the additions in our defensive line, they'll be able to get through some holes that they open up, eating up some offensive linemen there. So I think this will be a good showing to how good they can be in a historically heavy run type style that the Steelers have.
I got a question for Stryker. I got a question for Stryker. So Stryker, we talked about Kenny Pickett, right? He was our first round pick, Pittsburgh guy, played that Pitt. So I want to know, how did you feel about that first round draft pick? And before the draft pick, y'all signed Mitchell Trubisky. People thought he was gonna have a comeback year. He got some weapons. You named all the weapons you had.
Right.
Trubisky can move. Tomlin wanted a mobile guy, and Trubisky kind of fit with what we thought he was gonna be. So do you think he got not a raw deal, but do you think he could have a little longer leash, a little longer rope, this week 4, or do you think, y'all was tired of him, y'all wanted to see Pickett, or should y'all see Pickett even earlier?
Yeah, so first off, let's talk about Trubisky, the former Bill as well. You guys know him well.
Yeah.
He's a great leader. He's an excellent teammate, great in the locker room. Doesn't matter if he's starting or backing up. He says all the right things. Very Pittsburgh guy. Very blue-collar guy. That's probably why Buffalo loved him as well. Yeah. The only thing that sucked in this respect was we were trying to figure out our identity on offense with Mitchell Trubisky. My joke, which was pretty freaking accurate, was our identity on offense was 3 and out. So if you have Mitchell Trubisky going 3 and out the entire game, I mean, you look at our time of possession, first 3 games of the year, you're looking at 75% of the time our defense is on the field. Damn. Why? Because our offensive identity was 3 and out. We had no rest for this great defense. Now our great defense is all banged up. That's the reason why we soured on Trubisky. Another point I need to make to say the point, because did we give him enough time? A lot of Steeler Nation was really hard on Matt Canada, hated Matt Canada. And it's like, Canada can't call plays, whereas I am a student of the game. I'm watching the play calls. I'm seeing plays develop. I'm watching pre-snap motion. I'm watching, misdirection, end arounds, guys coming in different directions. I love this. It looks great. Looked great. As soon as we got Kenny Pickett into the game, running the same motions, we move the ball down the field. We score touchdowns. It's not a Matt Canada problem. It was a quarterback problem. And that's what I was telling people. It's like the problem is, and because Matt Canada was doing all the right things. Now, here's what you need out of a young offensive coordinator. You need to be putting your new quarterbacks in 3rd and short situations to be successful to convert first downs. Yeah. Mitchell Trubisky was consistently under 3rd and 5. Consistently. And we were still 3 and out. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. 3rd and 1s. Couldn't convert. Hell, we at least we had a 4th and 1 with Kenny Pickett. His first drive, we're like, screw it. Go for it. On our side of the field, like the 30-yard line, we're like, screw it. Going for it, Kenny. Kenny gets us a first down with his legs. We start moving on from there. I mean, that is a complete night and day difference because Kenny Pickett has a different command of our offense in the huddle as well. You can hear it in the way that the players start to react and how they grab them. So they say, you listen to what Claypool has to say. You listen to what Deontay Johnson has to say. It's more energetic in the huddle. He commands the huddle. He basically gets in and out. He's telling you what he wants to do. He's a competitor. He wants to win. So that injected that energy not only into the huddle, into the offense, but into that crowd. When he came out on that field, I was at the game. I'm a season ticket holder in Pittsburgh. That entire crowd shifted from, crap, here we go on offense again. Got a long field. All right. But no, Kenny came out on the field to start the second half. We all lost our freaking minds like they played Renegade. And they didn't play Renegade. It was Kenny Pickett coming out on the field, who we get to talk to about playing in that home stadium the previous 5 years as a Pitt Panther, being the first drafted quarterback, which we did not have to move up to the draft to grab him, which was great as well because he fell into our laps. We didn't lose draft capital. It was the guy that we wanted and the only real quarterback this draft with a first-round grade. The only other X factor that I need to talk about before we move on from quarterbacks was we might not have even drafted a quarterback this year. We had another quarterback in waiting, young quarterback, highly drafted, in Dwayne Haskins. Guy was a great talent. He could throw the ball all over the field. We're wearing the number 3 on the helmets now in his honor. And that was the interesting thing with Mitchell Trubisky. He invited all the Steeler receivers, running backs down to his place, but you never hear of quarterback invite other quarterbacks down too. He invited Mason Rudolph. He invited not Mitchell Trubisky because he went on the team, but Dwayne Haskins. Unfortunately, Dwayne Haskins died on the way to the airport, and that's a tragedy that we're going to have to live with now. But that was the reason why we were even in a position to have to draft a quarterback this year because really we had 3 quarterbacks on the roster at that point that were NFL players. We might have waited a year to draft a quarterback.
Wow, that's interesting. I never even thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's what you get when you get me on the show, guys.
Right? No. Listen, we love it. And I wanted to ask you, and I'm kind of going to make this a broad question. Like going into this game, right? We talked about the idea of trap game, and you kind of gave your point and how you hope. So I do want to ask you, with Kenny Pickett being a new quarterback, just overall, what are you looking for? What are Pittsburgh fans looking for in terms of this game? Right? Is this a situation where y'all saying y'all want to see the development of him, or think honestly have a chance of having an upset? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, this is the start of the Kenny Pickett era. This is his first start. The game is not too big for this guy. He's got great command. He does not have happy feet, and he knows where he wants to go with the ball pre-snap, and he's quick through his reads. So unlike Mitchell Trubisky or even Ben Roethlisberger, which was one of my biggest complaints to Ben Roethlisberger, was he wasn't the type of quarterback that threw people open. He was the type of quarterback that waited for you to get open, then threw you the football. Now, Kenny Pickett is not that quarterback. Kenny Pickett is, this is the design, this is the play, I want to go here with the ball, bam, ball's out. So that's kind of a little bit of a difference, and I think he's just so young right now that I don't think the game's going to be too big for him. Playing in his first start on the road, he knows the area. He's still local, being a Pittsburgh guy. I mean, Buffalo, you guys are our brothers to the north. Yeah. So I'm not at least worried about him not being able to show what he can do. I'm not expecting him to win the game, but what I'm expecting out of to see in this game is for him to get in and out of the huddle quickly, have command of the offense, and be able to move the ball consistently down the field. Maybe punch it in once or twice. That's essentially a win for me. Like, there's no way we're going to keep up with a shootout. If Josh Allen starts going nuts, he's not going up against Mahomes, for gosh sakes.
I don't know. Y'all got weapons, right? Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Farry.
We do. So
they're not nothing to sneeze at.
But it's going to be interesting at least to see how Kenny Pickett can get these guys in space and throw guys open. Because they're not going to be as open as that we're used to seeing for passes from past quarterbacks in Trubisky and in Ben Roethlisberger.
Interesting. I think, and it's kind of funny because there's been a lot of talk in Bill circles with our rookie cornerback, Kaiir Elam, and how he's been, really locked down, since he's been inserted into the lineup. And this is actually going to be a good test for him. I don't know if he's going to be on Claypool, Pickens, or Deontay Johnson. I'm not sure who he's going to check. But just
did he play Pickens in college?
That caliber.
Florida Gators, Florida and Georgia.
I'm sure they cross paths.
I'm sure
they had to cross paths at some point.
Yeah. So
well, one thing about Kaiir is he's got size. I mean, 6'1", you're looking at a good size. Like we're usually drafting like super tiny, like 5'10"ers, to come in to try to play outside edge. And when you're starting to go up against these bigger receivers, like we've got Claypool, we got I think we have like 4 receivers on our roster, 6'4" and over. We got Claypool, we got George Pickens, we got Boykin coming off the bench. Of course, like Freiermuth, and then Gentry's like 6'9". That guy, he's our backup tight end. That guy's a monster too. So we've got a lot of height. So it's good to have a plus 6 foot edge corner to start mixing it up and be able to play with these taller guys on the edge.
So Rad and Matt, with all the biggest, and I do want to get to some over unders. We haven't done it in a while, but since Stryker is on here, I think I want to. Do you think this is somewhat of a stat game for Josh Allen? I don't want to overlook the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're a formidable opponent. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. But do you think this is after we had an emotional win against the Baltimore Ravens, right? Do you think this is like a game where we can kind of, Josh Allen can kind of get some stat? I don't know. I'm asking. How do y'all feel?
I don't. Y'all mentioned trap game a few times. I want to call it a trap game, but it is one of those rookie quarterback coming into when that rookie quarterback just going to run because nobody got tape on him, and he just doing things nobody thought he was going to do, and it turns into some type of shootout or something like that. So that's definitely a possibility with Kenny Pickett with the weapons that Pittsburgh got, and maybe the defense not being up to snuff. So maybe we score early, and now the Steelers have to open it up. And now they just, Now they just Kenny Pickett get hot, and now it's a back and forth type of game. That's definitely a possibility that can happen. So I don't. Is it a stat game? I think we should take this game seriously. I think we should get these boys out of here. I think Mike Tomlin, like you said, is a live dog. He got his guys coming in wanting to play, and them start Kenny Pickett. They want Kenny Pickett to do good. You can tell that everybody wanted Kenny Pickett to start anyway. You can tell Matt Canada wanted Kenny Pickett in so everybody in the Steelers nation, in the Steelers locker room want to do good for Kenny Pickett. You know what I mean? So that's a lot coming in. So they got some momentum on their side too, right? The underdog, 14-point underdog coming in, you know, nobody give them a chance. So I think we need to take care of this team early and quick. Not quick, but early, you know, make sure we really dominate this team, or they can definitely be in this game and make it a game for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I
want to go to Matt.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you can go, Matt, because I want to go after this.
Well, I was gonna say this is with Stryker giving us the laundry list of injuries on the defensive side. It's not the same Steelers front that we saw last year that pressured Josh Allen 25 times in the game. I think they sacked him 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
it was they were all over him. You had Melvin Ingram, Cameron Hayward, and TJ Watt just all over Josh all game long. So I think Josh is, as subpar as our offensive line has been this year, he will have some time to make some plays. And when you give him that time, he's just unbeatable. He's unstoppable.
Yeah, so Ingram was actually the backup in that game. We had Highsmith coming in off the edge on the other side, being the starter. That's why he wanted traded out of Pittsburgh, because he wasn't getting the starts and he wasn't getting over Highsmith. And the reason why is because Highsmith is better than he is, even though he just won Player of the Month, I think, down there in Miami. Highsmith's stats kill his stats right now, except the fact that he got a touchdown and his team has a winning record. Highsmith's right now like 5.5 sacks. Like, I mean, to be the opposite side of TJ Watt, getting 3 sacks, I think, in his first game, a sack and a half last game. He's coming on. I mean, this is a guy that's a legit pass rusher in his own right, and you put Watt back out there with him, look out, because you can't double them both.
For sure.
Yeah. But in this game, you're right. They're not there.
Let's go
nobody's playing in this game.
Thank God.
Right. Well, you got Highsmith still running, so at least Highsmith's one guy can come in.
That's definitely going to be interesting. I want to see Deion Dawkins gets him. But so let's go right to it. I want to talk about Kenny Pickett over under 1.5 interceptions. And I guess I can go to Stryker first. How do you feel about that? Over or under?
I'd say I think he's going to throw at least one. If you watch the game last week, all 3 interceptions were off of touch balls. First one going deep to Claypool, trying to have Claypool make a play on the ball. For some reason, he didn't even attack the ball. I mean, this is his rookie year. He attacked every single football in the air. He kind of just watched the defender right there on his hip just take the ball. Like, he's twice the size of that guy. You just stick out an arm and the ball's gone. There's no way that guy can catch the ball. I don't know what happened on that play. The other one being the sideline shot to Freiermuth that was thrown high, went up, got both hands on the ball, popped right out of his hands, right into the defender behind him. And then, of course, the third interception was just the last play of the game. He's trying to make a play. I mean, it's a Hail Mary. We either have to get a touchdown or we lose. They intercepted the ball. That interception doesn't hurt us at all, but it's part of the game. Sure, it goes down in the stats. Now it looks like he's a 0 touchdown to 3 interception guy, even though he got 2 touchdowns with his legs. But, quarterback rating with Josh Allen, he gets hit on that end of it too, because he can make the plays with his feet. He can have double-digit touchdowns with his legs as well, but it doesn't go toward his quarterback rating.
Right.
But yeah, under 1.5.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go under 1.5. I think he's going to throw 1, 2. But if we're going turnovers, I think we might catch like a sack fumble or something like that this week. I can see that, but I think as far as interceptions go,
I like that.
Poyer's our ball hawk on the defense, but I got to see something more out of the other guys to say we're going to start getting more interceptions.
And Von Miller's always
Spin is saying, absolutely. Spin is saying that he's saying over because Poyer is getting the hat trick. He got 2 last game.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I'm gonna say over 2. Yeah, I'm gonna say over 2. I don't know. I don't know how many of y'all watched the Pat McAfee show, but Poyer was on there a couple of days ago, and Pat McAfee said if he hit 13 interceptions this year, he's gonna donate $1 million to his foundation or something like that. So Poyer obviously he want to do it. He want to get paid, obviously. But adding the stuff like that, he's definitely going to be ball hawking. He's definitely going to be trying to get those interceptions up. So yeah, I think Poyer definitely going to have 1, and I give Elam 1 too.
Elam getting 1.
Oh, wow, interesting.
I mean, the Bills are going to be putting some pressure on him for sure. The young guy, and I'll be in the crowd on Sunday. So
Tara saw it too. Shout out to Tara.
Tara's got it.
So this is my other thing, and this is for some fantasy people out there. Najee Harris over under 62 and a half yards rushing.
Under. I'm gonna go first. Under.
Wow.
The only reason I say under, if we want to, I don't know if you play fantasy Stryker, but going into this season,
not at all.
Going into the season, the one guy I was like, I'm not drafting this year is Najee Harris. Not because I don't think he's good, it's because Ben Roethlisberger's not there. I don't know what type of quarter, like he caught 70 balls last year or something like that, right? And I'm like, it's no way, that it's just, I don't know if he can redo that again, just because that was Ben Roethlisberger's safety blanket. He gave it to Najee Harris every play if he couldn't figure it out. So I think he still is a good running back, obviously, but the O-line is not, it's not the best, and he's not gonna catch those balls. So I don't see that unless he gets 25 plus carries, which I don't believe he's gonna have to. I think they're gonna have to open it up because the Bills going to score points. So yes, I think the combination of the O-line and they're gonna have to throw more than they need to. So I'm gonna say definitely under.
And is that for rushing yards or total yards? That's 60. Just strictly for
rushing.
Just rushing.
Oh yeah,
just rushing.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty accurate. If you're asking me, I mean, he kind of made the plays last year. I don't know why he really just doesn't look the same. I mean, he's had some wow moments. He's jumped over some people. He's throttled some people down with the stiff arms and the truck moves.
You think it's that Liz Frank, that foot injury came into the season with?
Well, no, it doesn't seem to be really slowing him down, and he's not a speed back. Like that's one of the things. At least he is completely recovered from that. At least was a good thing, but I think he's just not confident in this line yet. I mean, we're watching plays where the line is blocked and there's a space for him and he bounces it outside. And that was happening early on because there was no consistency in blocking in the first couple games. Now we're starting to get some consistency in blocking. So week 1, week 2, our runs were like getting killed in the backfield, no gain, maybe 1 or 2 if he stretches it out. Like that was like our best runs. Now these last couple weeks, 3 and 4, those runs are now 3, 4, 5 yards. So now you're getting your consistent amount of yards that you should be getting out of a first down run play. Line is blocking better. They're starting to follow this new system of blocking, being aggressive, supposed to be the first people initiating contact in the run game to open and push holes and to set the tone. But he has to do better. That 60 number is spot on. That's like pretty much his rushing record this year for a game is right around 60 yards. Really, they have to. But to tell you the truth, I think the only way they can stay in this game is by controlling the football, slowing down the game, limiting the number of offensive reps for Josh Allen. That is the only path I can see to victory for the Steelers. Only giving them like 2 drives a quarter, 3 max. If we can do that, that means we're running the football. That's running it effectively. We're throwing the ball. We're converting third downs. That's the only path to victory that I can even see for this team. Otherwise, this is going to be, like I said, it's going to be a laugher in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I'm going to follow with the under. I think just because our front seven, it doesn't really matter who's in the game. They're playing with so much confidence, and they are, they're dominating.
Plugging holes. You plugging holes, man. You plugging holes.
They do. And Von Miller and Greg Rousseau are really good in the run stop as well as the pass rush. And then you got, Milano and Edmonds playing as well as any linebackers in the NFL right now. So they're able to play free in that defense too. McDermott and Frazier aren't afraid to keep their secondary on an island, with everybody. So those guys get kind of free reign to do what they want.
Interesting.
I'm surprised you don't play fantasy football, Stryker. Why you ain't get into that yet?
I will tell you exactly why I don't play fantasy football. I only played fantasy football for 1 year and 1 year only. That was way back in 2001. I had a guy named Marshall Falk on my fantasy football team. Love Marshall Falk. Love him out of San Diego State. The guy was a monster. Catching, running. I mean, he's one of those true dual threats as well out of the backfield. They were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football. I'm watching my diehard team that I always loved, always screamed for, and I'm watching this game, and I started rooting for Marshall Falk against my own team to do well.
Wow.
I said, never again. See, and that's what fantasy is.
It
when
is.
you don't have when you have a football problem and you're an absolute fanatic for a certain team, you can't play fantasy football unless you like put all your teammates on it, and then you're not going to win. So you're not going to have a chance to win that league. But that's why I have to. I'm so insane for my team that I was like, I am done with fantasy football. I have never played it since 2001. That was the only season playing it. And I will never play it again because I already have the passion. And I watch I watch a ton of games anyway, just because I love the game.
Yeah.
People in fantasy have to watch for their players. Like I'm watching KC because I love Mahomes. I'm watching Bills because I love Josh Allen. Like there's some great players. You got Herbert over in San Diego. He's fun to watch. You got even Lamar Jackson inside the division, who's fun to watch. And even Joe Burrow now with that offense and all those wide receivers. I mean, I've got a passion for the game, how players play. So I don't need fantasy to be a fan of the game. I'm already a fan of the game.
I mean, you sound like you got to get you back in because, picking Marshall Faulk seemed like you knew what you was doing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great
I know how to draft. If you guys ever need help with a fantasy draft and which Steelers to take, I will definitely help you out with that because I was telling my friends like 3 years ago, I'm like, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson. Like what? I'm like, Deontay Johnson. The guy, you know, the PPR league, Deontay Johnson. Yeah. And then I got him in like the 5th round. They're like, Stryker, I'm winning my league. You're welcome.
It's funny. Yeah, I know. With fantasy, it's tough because it's like, you want your player to do good, but obviously you want your team to win. It's all love and fun. But just hearing you guys talk about, both teams and how the game is going to go, I'm really interested to hear your score predictions. I'm really interested to hear your score prediction. So I'll go to Matt first. Matt, can you give me your score prediction of the game?
Yeah, I'll even start it by we'll talk about the contest after. So I'm gonna go Bills 33, Steelers 13.
Oh my God. Okay. Sweet. Rad.
I'm gonna say Bills 24, Steelers 10.
Wow, interesting. Stryker.
Well, the over-under looks like it's 47 points.
Yes.
I think that you guys could at least get 41.
Oh God, no! I don't think not the Tennessee Titans.
I don't know who's going to be on defense. To tell you the truth, like we've got Larry Ogunjobi is the only defensive lineman that's healthy, other than Leal, who's our rookie. Otherwise, Wormley's banged up. Hayward's banged up. Our middle linebackers, you got Jack and you got Bush healthy, and fortunately, you got Highsmith healthy. But we got Reed on the other side. He's no Watt. And then our entire secondary is healthy. So we're looking at 4 of the 11 players on our team are completely healthy. 4.
That's crazy.
I don't know how we're going to stop you, honestly. Like, I love my team. I'm as optimistic as the next guy, but like I said, the only way we're winning this game is if the offense controls the ball and the defense doesn't have to play, and we get lucky on a couple defensive stops or a turnover if we get super lucky or somebody can get back there to make a play.
Yeah.
And the Steelers then might score. Like we can't. 20 has been our max this season. 20 points at least for the Steelers scoring. I think with Kenny Pickett in the game, it gives us a chance to at least get to 30. I just don't see this first game against the Bills being the game he hits 30. 24 max, I'd see him scoring in this game.
And
if he scored 10, I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you think that so the Steelers defense, you're probably gonna run like a zone heavy? Like it's gonna be zone heavy? Because Minka's not there, or
we went zone last week because we started losing people, and frickin' Zach Taylor carved us up like a Thanksgiving chicken. I mean, he's doing it. Like, there's no chance of us being able to stop Josh Allen having 5-6 seconds.
Zach Wilson. Okay, I know you're saying.
Zach Wilson. Sorry, Zach. Yeah, he was the old Dolphins linebacker. Am I whipping out old AFC references right now?
Zach Wilson looked like
Zach Wilson was looking like Russell Wilson out there against our team. It was not fun to watch as a Steeler fan in the fourth quarter once our entire secondary was banged up. And like we do better at zone. Like we played Cincinnati, game 1, man, we killed them. Absolutely, like nobody was getting open until Chase a little bit down the field, but Chase is an all-world player. You expect him to make plays here and there, just like I'd expect Diggs to make some plays here and there. But yeah, we're probably going zone because we're down to our second string defense playing the game. So good luck, Steelers. Like I said, this is a really tough matchup for the Steelers, and it's like I know you guys had an emotional win, but it was on the road. Coming back home, it's a lot easier. Like if you guys are going on the road to like the Dolphins after that win, that would be tougher. That might be or even to the Jets. That might be a letdown game. But you're coming back home.
Yeah.
You guys know you lost to the Steelers on that same field last year. You want to set the tone. Steelers are banged up. I mean, Josh Allen's going to say all the right things, but he is licking his damn chops knowing that no TJ coming at him. Hayward's banged up. Fitzpatrick's banged up, and the entire secondary. Who's going to play? We don't know yet. So, like, I know in his heart of hearts, he's like, I think we're going to have a big game. He's definitely going to be confident. Don't get me wrong. Like, even if he's not that type of ego guy, but he's going to be confident as hell going into this game.
Josh got an ego. I know he come off like he don't, but Josh Allen has a ego.
He's got swagger.
He got some. Not
He's
in
got
a good
swagger
way.
that I love. He hates I love quarterbacks that hate to lose.
Yes.
It's on. And I was talking to Matt about this on my show. I said all of the NFL and Steeler Nation in general, too, after you guys lost 2 weeks ago, to see your offensive coordinator lose his freaking mind in the press box, that is what every single fan feels.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I can picture you. That's something you will do. You will flip
exactly.
out.
You have people punching TV sets and stuff like at the end of the playoff game last year, which, in my opinion, I also told Matt on our show, that was the single greatest game I've ever seen in the NFL was that Kansas City Buffalo game. Oh. And I was pulling for Buffalo, guys. You guys are my playoff team. I wear my Overdue Bills shirt as soon as we're out of the playoffs, which is like 5 minutes into the playoffs when we get in. But I watched a ton of football. No football game was that riveting, that back and it was like watching an arena game. Yeah. It was absolutely and like you still have players making plays on defense, and then the quarterbacks just take it up a notch. Yeah. It was just such an incredible game that seeing Josh as that type of competitor. It's just an absolute joy to see. It's just going to suck that it comes at the expense of my team.
Absolutely. Matt, quickly, can you let the people know about our contest? I know it's a lot of people on right now.
Yeah, for sure. So we got our weekly contest. Is a score prediction. The Buffalo Bills against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're going to give your score prediction this week. And then as a tiebreaker, I guess it's a double tiebreaker, you're going to give Josh Allen's passing yards and his rushing yards. The contest is going to close at 12:45 before kickoff this Sunday. So definitely get in your predictions. The winner is going to get a $30 gift certificate to Buffalo Wing Kings.
Absolutely. Please, please, please enter into the contest. Thank you, Buffalo Wing Kings, for the gift certificate. And let me say this. Listen, we appreciate Stryker. Yes, he comes through every time for us. I love the energy. Listen, when we first started this, he was one of our first guests. And listen, ever since, man, it's just been a great brotherhood. We definitely appreciate you. Just let the people know all that's going on in your podcast and everything like that. So they can just know that.
Yeah, I have a vidcast and a podcast. Everything for us is Steeler Nation. There's no S on ours. We've had Steeler Nation longer than the Steelers when they had to do Steelers Nation because we wouldn't give them Steeler Nation. But you go over there to SteelerNation.com. That's basically where all the shows are. I usually do a vidcast. It's about an hour long, which I just take Q&A like you guys, actually directly from the fans. It's just me talking to fans. This is the first time I had a guest on this week when I had Matt on the show, and it worked out great because we were fielding questions directly as things were going on. But that's usually on Tuesday or Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, depending on my schedule and where I am in the nation. But YouTube.com, subscribe to that /Steeler Nation. That's on there. Go to SteelerNation.com. I do a condensed 15 to 20-minute podcast for Friday into Saturday where I talk about the matchups, talk about how the game's looking, and basically what's going on that week in general. So SteelerNation.com, the best way to find it. Or for me, if you guys want to follow me directly, I'm at SN Stryker. That's for Steeler Nation Stryker on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and Tickety Talk.
We love Stryker. We definitely appreciate it. Appreciate everybody in the comments, man. Wonderful show. Thank all of you for tuning in. And you know how we end every show with a little bit of that. Hey, 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 hey.
Hey. Oh, first let's go. Let's go.
Kick your heels up and down.
Let's see why the Buffalo Bills are en route to the playoffs.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
Buffalo Bills go undefeated. And we're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Now, baby, come on, come on.
No one
Come on
circles the
and
wagon.
shout.